G'day guys, this is Holy Critic signing in with a new episode of Quick Reviews. Now, I'm going to make a very bold statement. I've reviewed, 26 movies on this channel so far, and what I have just seen tops the list as my absolute favourite. No word of a lie, it's the best TV miniseries I've ever seen. It's based on the best-selling novel by writer Dean Koontz, who's probably the undisputed master of suspense thrillers. To put it simply, Intensity examines evil and the principalities of darkness that operate in our world. We as the viewer get to experience it directly through the eyes of China Shepherd, played by Molly Parker. She's a young waitress desperately trying to recover from the horrors of her abusive past. As the story unfolds through flashbacks, we learn of an alcoholic mother and psychopathic stepfather who made her childhood a living nightmare. After hearing these horrific stories, China's best friend Laura invites her to stay at her family's horse ranch for some much-needed rest and relaxation. But the peace and quiet is short-lived, for a vicious serial killer named Edgler Vess stalks in the shadows. He's played by John C. McGinley, who's best known as the quirky, quick-witted doctor from the TV series Scrubs. This is not exactly a role I'd expect him to play, but he absolutely nails it. With ruthless efficiency, he promptly murders everyone in the night except China, who luckily slips from his grasp. But she's not going to settle on just being a survivor this time. Instead, she musters up the courage to fight back. As he wreaks a path of havoc, China follows closely behind, making sure to leave a trail of breadcrumbs for local authorities to track. But Edgler is animal cunning and quickly clues on to China's attempts to thwart him. He eventually outfoxes her in an intense showdown and holds her captive at his remote cabin. At this point, China's fate seems like a mere formality, but in his sick, twisted mind, her death will serve his grand plan. You see, in his basement is a kidnapped 15-year-old girl named Ariel. Much like China, she has also been subjected to horrifically depraved acts, and yet still won't give Edgler the satisfaction he desires. He wants to see her soul completely broken, to the point where she screams out in agony and despair, but instead she remains dead silent, almost catatonic. As China sits chained to her chair waiting for the inevitable, she is forced to confront the past and find some catharsis. But all is not lost, and the supernatural forces that exist in the universe are about to gift a helping hand. Intensity is a movie that lives up to its title. It's 3 hours of unrelenting terror with only brief moments of reprieve. The characters are well developed, the story is thoroughly engaging, and the rainy, cold setting highly atmospheric. John C. McGinley's unexpected performance alone made it worth watching. I've always found his passive-aggressive approach to be deeply unsettling, even in comedic roles. He uses his trademark mix of superficial charm and sarcastic wit to creepy effect here. He toys with his victims intellectually first, before he ever lays a hand on them. The only other character I can compare him to is Hannibal Lecter, which is saying a lot because I highly rate The Silence of the Lambs. And on the topic of rating, I'm in a little bit of a unique predicament here. Because this is a 2-part miniseries, I rated both parts separately. I've given the first part 4 halos and the second part 5 halos. So overall, Intensity has earned a final rating of 4.5 halos out of 5. This is absolutely mandatory viewing if you love psychological thrillers, but be warned. While there is no graphic violence or gore, I must reiterate that the language used is very disturbing, so please keep that in mind. And just before I go, guys, please tell me in the comments what your favourite serial killer movies are. Maybe I can review some of them in the future. And if you're interested in seeing more of my quick reviews, make sure you check out the playlist on the right of screen so you can keep fully up to date. But for now, God bless, stay safe, and this is Holy Critic, signing out.